Okay, I'm here in Langley. That's Langley, Berkshire, England, not Langley, Virginia, where the CIA are from. And I'm just reflecting upon what a blessing the rain is. I'm riding, and I'm cycling, and it's very nice. The rain is cooling me down. It's not heavy, it's very light. And it's filling the earth up with greenery around me as well. I mean, I'm in a park full of trees, all types of trees. They give shelter. I'm actually behind a brick building at the moment, which is another blessing, of course, because I'm shielding myself from the direction of the rain as well. But on my way today, I came out with the intention of doing another sketch, but I think the pad would get wet pretty quickly, so I'm not going to attempt that today. But I've been kind of around the Heathrow area, the Colnbrook area, crossed the motorway a couple of times, rode alongside the motorway, and if you can try and take in what's going on around you, it really is quite an amazing sight. It's just a rat race. It seems like a slave driving operation. People driving around frantically, trying to be productive, industrious, slaving away to earn their daily bread, and it's quite a depressing picture actually. It looks like you're watching some big machine in operation with lots of people struggling to play their part so that they can benefit an overall plan, benefit small systems within a greater system. And when you look at it from the outside like that, while you're able to breathe in and out and have some tranquility and view it in perspective, it does hit you about what's going on. I mean, even now, I'm in a relatively tranquil park, but alongside that is a main road. I think it's the Bath Road. Heading into London, maybe, unless I'm getting my bearings wrong here. Nevertheless, a road going to London, and away from London. Obviously, it goes in two directions. But again, that's people on their way from work, usually, struggling here and there. So this is one of the thoughts that hit me. The way people are slaving away all these hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours and more a day, usually for very little in return. Another thing, the way, at one stage at a junction, I was just staring into the distance at the scenery, and what struck me is that all the cars are stopping at the junction and they're bound to be looking at me. And they would probably think, what the hell is he doing? And I was just simply taking in the scenery. And also making a decision about which direction to move in next. Whether I moved into again towards the London area to see if I can sketch a church or something. But what struck me was that no doubt these people are thinking I'm either weird or up to something no good, or just I've seen something odd in the distance or something. I mean, it would not really enter their mind that someone is just trying to take in some of the signs of God around him, some of the beautiful scenery, or just trying to reflect on what is in front of his face. So this would be a normal human activity if people were thinking straight, but because people are so occupied, because they are so engaged in just their business or trying to fund their escapisms, then obviously you're going to stand out and people are going to think you're doing something very odd. Something else struck me as well, if I can just take a few seconds to think about it. Okay, it's come back to me. The other thing that I was reflecting upon was the idea of a futuristic society. Sometimes you watch these science fiction movies that project themselves into the future, or they project the viewer into the future. And something like the Blade Runner, or, I don't know, Total Recall, or something like that. And you have this picture that, everything is different. The transactions are different. The mode of transport is different. The extent of our exploration is different. The machinery, the technology, everything is far advanced and amazing. And it tries to, these movies, and these visions, they have this impact on the emotions, on the mind, to think, how different things are, how advanced things are, and if only I could be in a time that's advanced like that. Sometimes, of course, they give a bleak picture as well, that, look how bad things can get due to the ever-growing problems that man has in his, trying to organize his needs and instincts and everything by means of technology and man-made systems and things. But, someone who's excited about technology, they look at those movies, or if they're reading novels and they're getting the vision from there, whatever, and they maybe would like to have a taste of that. But of course, if you're in those times, if you're living in those times, it wouldn't really be anything of the sort. You wouldn't have those emotions, you wouldn't have those thoughts, unless there was a sudden change of technology, unless there was a sudden advancement in all different directions, so that you were shocked into noticing the difference. If we look at living in our own time, there's been quite a lot of changes. The computer revolution, the internet, the telecommunications advancements, all of these types of things, they've changed our life. I mean, in my time, I'm 35 years old. I've seen a lot of these things, really develop in my time and advance in my time, come out of nowhere almost, and they're affecting our lives quite significantly. I mean, even what I'm doing now, recording on a digital recording device, I mean, this is obviously a great convenience. But what I was doing, I was on the motorway. I was walking alongside the motorway, stopped cycling just to slow down a little and take things in a bit. And what I saw was vehicles, obviously, as you do. Vehicles with lights on, moving very fast, big, great, hunking, lorries, full of metal and all sorts of things, but, great amounts of weight shifting along these roads, along these highways, along these motorways and main roads. And then, of course, I was near the airport as well, so I was seeing massive, obviously, aircraft weighing, dozens or maybe 100 plus tons or hundreds of tons, I'm not sure, but very heavy anyway. And these things are flying above you and you can hear the sounds. Now, catapult yourself into one of those movies and they paint a similar vision. There is vehicles moving around in some way for people to get to A to B. And then there are other more major transportation systems in place. And all of this is being taken in people's stride in these type of futuristic movies. It's kind of ignored, or people are just carrying on without really considering anything. Just like, they're small cogs in a machine and they're not interested in the whole, they're just playing their part, but they serve the machine. And that's exactly what is happening now. But the point is, because we are living inside it, because we are surrounded by it, because we are, breathing all of this in basically, because it's almost in our blood, the chemicals are in our blood, we are not shocked by what we are experiencing. We are not considering that it is a futuristic picture. We're not considering that it's a move away from, maybe more healthier, natural processes and things like this. The issue is, it's normal for us because we live in it and we grow up amongst these things. But for people from many generations before, you don't really have to go centuries. You wouldn't have to go a century even. If they looked around, things would be very strange. The picture would be very strange to them. And it would be quite shocking about what is happening in terms of the speed of things, the output, the productivity, all of this type of thing, the machinery, the technology. It would be shocking. but we are living amongst it. So all you have to do is reflect and think. Look at these machines that move, 100 miles an hour and more. Look at these machines in the air that move 100 miles an hour plus a few hundred miles an hour, 1,000 miles an hour and more. This is all strange. It's all strange, and it's an onward marching advancement. But towards what? I mean, there's productivity, there's speed, there's communication, there's travel. But to what end? I mean, what's the point of it all? If it's just all a miserable slog to achieve nothing other than eating, wouldn't it have been better just to stay, in the caves or in the trees and at least not be drawing in your big whiff of pollution? I mean, the point is people are not thinking about the big scheme of things because of all of this occupation, and even the amazing strides in technology are not necessarily serving the people well, because the systems upon which they are built and the bases upon which those systems are built are not necessarily thought out for the good of the people, or for what the people were created for. So, whereas, there's always been a religiously driven progressive civilization, really, in all societies, all civilizations throughout history, what we experience now is just an onward drive for the sake of it, rather than this push of discovery for the benefit of mankind in this life and in the next life. What is happening is people are just caught up in the moment of driving forward to eat. It's almost like we're become like cattle in a big mechanical farm. But my point really is to try and slow down sometimes, breathe in, take a deep breath, look up at the sky, look at the trees, feel the rain, feel the blessings there, and then think about how this technology, how this progress, which is beneficial and can be beneficial, how it's being abused, how when it does not have the correct framework of morality and progressive thought, civilized thought and religious thought behind it, how it can become very damaging very quickly. If we look at a lot of the problems in society today, we are suffering in these societies mainly, I believe, because of the abandonment of religious principles and aims. If you think of most of the problems that societies are facing, it's because of their abandonment of religious principles and religious laws. If they had not abandoned the morality, the family framework, the community framework, which comes from a religious viewpoint, you wouldn't be having so many of these social, economic, criminal and political problems. But you have to analyze the religious laws in detail for that, and people have lost all of this because they just follow some very cheap and foolish, idiotic slogans which they hear from some anti-religious people, or people who are having an anti-religious agenda and disguising it as something else. But anyway, just some thoughts as I was out today, and I did not achieve specifically what I wanted, but I hope these reflections may benefit some of us and move us on to some more progressive thoughts and actions. Thank you, and I would just say, Allahumma sayyiban nafiyan, that is, oh Allah, make it a beneficial rain. And this is a dua that the Muslims make, or they should do, when it's raining, because this is a time for blessings. Of course, we all came from water, and people are used to complaining about the rain, when actually if they had no rain, then they would have nothing. So, thank you for listening, and I'll leave you for today.